4 new overdoses occurred at 2 different outdoor festivals over the long Anzac weekend. A 2010 survey found that more than 11% of people ages 18 to 29 had taken the drug ecstasy in the past 12 months. With such a high prevalence of ecstasy users and an increasing rate of overdoses at festivals and entertainment venues, we visited Parliament House to find out how effective Australia's current policing methods are.
Within my role as the Justice spokesperson, one of the key campaigns we're doing is the Sniff Off campaign, aimed at ending the ongoing and expanding police drug dog program in New South Wales. There's a number of reasons we're opposed to that, but the principal one is a human rights basis. We don't believe people should be subject to arbitrary and random searches, particularly when they're on the basis of a drug dog indication, which we know from figures that we've got from the police minister, that drug dog indication is wrong anywhere between 75 and 80% of the time. As is so often the case with these discretionary police powers, there are the usual suspects being targeted. People in the Aboriginal community, people with mental illness, homeless people, and of course overwhelmingly young people and students.
While Australia relies heavily on its use of drug detection dogs, they have largely failed to prevent the supply of illicit drugs.
There's very low evidence for them being effective. And the most detections that detection dogs have are for cannabis possession or cannabis use. So you'll have a detection dog that can sniff someone who's recently used cannabis as well. So if they've recently been around someone who's used cannabis, they can detect that. But what the police said that they were implementing the detection dogs for was to catch sellers.
As a program to deal with supply, it's been woeful. I mean, beyond woeful. The Ombudsman did a review of it about 5 years ago and found, I think, about 0.2% of people who were found to have drugs on them following a drug dog indication ended up being charged with supply. Whilst there are about 16,000 searches following a drug dog indication in New South Wales more broadly, what is really confronting is about 600 or 700 times a year that search escalates to a strip search. So a young person can be going to a music festival, a drug dog can indicate that they have drugs on them, that can be wrong, so the search happens, they get humiliated in front of their friends. When no drugs are found, well, the police officer may insist on escalating it to a strip search. They then get taken to a demountable office that's been brought to the music festival or the back of a police bus, and their strip search may take all their clothes off and squat over a mirror so the police can look up their backside. And again, that search is ending negative in 2/3 of occasions. So they're failing to find drugs in 2/3 of occasions when they escalate it to a strip search. And then the young person is then told to put their clothes back on and hope you have a lovely day at the music festival.
In March, the Parliamentary Group on Drug Policy and Law Reform held the Parliamentary Drug Summit in Canberra to debate approaches to drug policy in Australia. The summit looked at what has worked and what hasn't worked in terms of drug policy in order to assess the possibilities for the future.
The Federal Parliamentary Drug Summit was actually attended by a number of politicians from across parties. It was attended by experts as well as families who have people who use drugs. Overwhelmingly, the consensus of that summit was that we have to have a strategy and a policy around harm reduction, around saving lives. And pill testing is part and parcel of that. When people go to music festivals and they are using drugs, they should be better informed. They need to know if they are going to use adulterated drugs. And experience from overseas has shown that many of them discard those drugs and they get an opportunity to talk to health professionals about the safety and the dangerous aspects of drug use as well.
Zac Cooper, Gen Y.